I want to discuss our idea, our thesis of increasing our Crispr index. We are in the process of discussing that thesis, and probably towards year end, we will rebalance the portfolio towards a larger position on the Crispr index. So I want to discuss why we're thinking about that. And in general, I think it's about time to get back to our Crispr idea. We haven't spoken about this enough. We believe Crispr has the potential to be another 10x in the near future, and here are the reasons. This is the Not Even Wrong podcast. It's December 5th, 2020. This is Krim Delco. Today's a Saturday. There's no update. Crispr is our second largest position as of NAV right now, so meaning as of current NAV, we have about 17% in Crispr, 80% in Tesla. So the question or the discussion point today is CRISPR. So CRISPR is a technology that was first published in 2012. We have labeled CRISPR as the transistor of our age. So the same way that the discovery and invention of the transistor in 1949 by Bill Shockley and his collaborators was the beginning of a, I would say, revolutionary time for human mankind, and particularly for the industrial world. It enabled Silicon Valley. It enabled the biggest wealth creation of ever in the planet's history. So we believe that CRISPR has this function for this century. And the main reason we are so excited about CRISPR is because it has large impact and it's disruptive. It's disruptive because it democratizes, it lowers cost, it creates new markets. It has everything the innovator's dilemma could possibly think about. It has everything written all over. It is disruptive in a sense that it's lowering the cost. It is increasing new markets everywhere. Everybody who is in CRISPR, either in a lab, in a company, in the administrative areas of a university, I don't care where you are in this whole supply chain, if you are exposed to CRISPR, you're thinking of new markets, new applications, and the ability to use this technology at low cost is enormous. What that means in practice is that you can have a lab with very few people, one person, very little money, and you can start doing experiments, you can start doing research. And in the past, you needed probably millions of dollars and lots of people and personnel to even start doing something like gene manipulation or gene editing. So this is the first reason. The second reason, and this is very contemporary, this is very up-to-date sort of, because only a few weeks ago we had a breakthrough at the protein folding contest. I don't want to go into details, what's the name of it, but there is a contest, a biannual contest of protein folding. It has been going on for, I think, about 3 decades or even more. And the idea is, can we predict how proteins will fold if we give you the amino acid structure of a protein? And of course, if we can predict something, according to David Deutsch, if you can program it, you understand it. So if you have a sense for how it's going to evolve, then you understand it. Maybe you don't understand the deep thermodynamics, dynamics, and all that stuff, why it's happening, but it doesn't matter. You can predict protein folding. That means you understand protein folding. Why is that so important, and what's the connection to CRISPR? It's because the fundamental theorem of biology, which is DNA, RNA, protein, and now you can just extend that from protein to amino acid structure, protein folding, function. So we have a direct connection between the DNA and function, and we can go both ways. So we can manipulate DNA and alternate functions, and we can also see which functions or which malfunctions of proteins are related to which genes. So this is the massive breakthrough that we believe is just now, and this is really, we're talking weeks, and it's obviously not going to happen in the next couple of months. This is not something we expect next quarter to drive our returns, but it's something that we believe will go faster than we expect, or faster than maybe you might think in the first sight. And even if it's a bit early to invest in that thesis, I think it's important enough to have this in front of our minds. This is kind of the power law of scientific discovery. So we have CRISPR and genetics as a massive first sort of tool and technology to do science and do research and technology and develop technologies and products and services that actually can be wealth generating. And now we have another lever on top of that, which is we can now also understand proteins and functions much better. And that is, it's literally a power law here that we can do a lot more with the same kind of technologies and just do a lot more good for the world and create a lot more products and services and generate a lot more wealth. So these are the fundamental reasons why we are very excited, why we're pretty sure, again, it hasn't been decided, but we believe we will increase our CRISPR position to something maybe 30% of the portfolio. It's not written in stone yet, but I just want to have this episode regardless, because it is a very exciting time. It's always very exciting when you have new disruptive ideas that are sort of aligning, that you don't have to wait for another couple of domino stones to drop. It is happening right now. There's enough knowledge, enough technology expertise, enough excitement, enough capital in place to drive this technology to become a wealth generating field for us investors, for entrepreneurs, and to be, of course, wealth generating means you create a lot of wealth and value for the world. That's the only way you can actually generate that kind of wealth. So now let's go a little bit more into the specifics. Our CRISPR index is composed of 6 companies. The 3 original CRISPR companies, Editas, Intellia, and CRISPR Therapeutics. We have Beam Therapeutics as a next level of CRISPR company, and I will talk about this in more detail. We have Twist Bioscience, and we have Illumina. Actually, only 5 companies. I'm sorry. So we have reduced our index since we first started. So it's only 5 companies actually. The 5 companies, like I said, the 3 original CRISPRs. Then we have Beam, we have Twist, and we have Illumina. I want to start with Twist, the most exciting company in our CRISPR portfolio, the most also the best return that we have in the CRISPR portfolio. Twist has done phenomenal since we invest in the company. Twist is a synthetic biology company. That means that they make DNA, RNA, they make these kinds of molecules synthetically. They don't just take them from nature, they make them synthetically. They have 4 business lines. There's 2 businesses we consider more commoditized and 2 very disruptive. The 2 more commoditized businesses are, one is synthetic biology, where they write DNA on silicon. That is a fairly commoditized business. However, there is the technology how to make this faster, more iterative, low cost. So that is Twist's, I would say, first big claim to fame. Then they have a business where what they call next-gen sequencing, where they increase the speed and lower the cost of genetic sequencing. That is, again, probably not disruptive in the sense that it's out there, it's available, but again, Twist has the ability through sustained innovation to lower costs, increase adoption, and be more disruptive on that front. But real disruption, we believe, happens on the 2 other business lines. One is their biopharma business, and the other is the DNA data storage. The biopharma business is the business where they look for antibodies to attack diseases. So this is, think of this like a business where you kind of digitize pharmacology, where you look at, okay, what's the disease? Let's say the disease is X. How can we attack this disease? Let's find sequences. Let's find let's find proteins, or let's find some sort of molecule that we could develop, either a synthetic or an organic molecule that we could develop, and then let's use synthetic biology to build those antibodies, or build the components that are necessary to create those antibodies in vivo or ex vivo, and then attack the disease. So this is an iterative approach. It's fast. It's kind of a single molecule solution to single genetic solution to diseases. So it has a lot of these new ways of dealing with disease written all over it. But most importantly, it's low cost, more iterative, faster. You can do a lot faster R&D, things like that. The last disruptive technology is DNA storage. I would say this is probably the one where we are most excited about. People don't talk about it much, but the ability to store data on DNA is enormous. It can have huge repercussions on computer science, on data storage, on things like that. And we are very excited about this too. So now if you add on top of this now this ability to attack, let's say, if you look at the biopharma business now with the protein folding business, we have a direct line now from twist towards functions within the body, and that is to the protein folding side of things. So if we could have, let's say, just hypothetically, a synthetically composed DNA, which creates RNA, which creates a sequence of amino acids, and then we can use the AlphaFold technology to go from there to the protein folding and the function, we could potentially see Twist Bioscience have a fully integrated one-stop solution from DNA to function. So that would be Twist Bioscience, a very exciting company. It's our largest position within the Crispr index because it grew the most. The three original CRISPR companies, Editas, Intellia, and CRISPR Therapeutics, are, I would say, more classical companies in the sense that they attack diseases. They attack things like cancer, sickle cell disease. And in that sense, they are traditional companies using a new innovative approach called CRISPR to solve problems. That has advantages and disadvantages. I would say the big advantage here is, of course, again, that you're using a new technology, a new innovation stack to attack diseases. The disadvantage is you're stuck in that whole FDA approval process. It takes time, etc. But this is the name of the game whenever you deal with diseases, pharmacology, and things like that. So there's not much we can do about that. Beam Therapeutics is what they call CRISPR 2.0. It allows for certain better ways to actually edit the genome, and the big story here is Beam Therapeutics is using base editing, which was developed by two ladies. That one of them actually works for Beam Therapeutics, the other went back to academia. It's a company that is using, think of it like the next level of gene editing technology. We are excited about this because it is, like it says, it's the next level. So it has even a better ability, or how should I say? It is a little bit more difficult to use, but it has much better solutions for specific problems within the gene editing space. And lastly, Illumina is a company that unfortunately hasn't performed as well for us, but we believe that still gene sequencing and the reading of the genome has to be the base of all this. Illumina is a little bit like the Intel of gene editing. So without them, nothing else is going to actually happen. So that is the reason why we bought Illumina. We still believe that Illumina has potential to do extremely well. The downside of Illumina is that on the one hand, they are a monopolist, and therefore they have a little bit of regulatory issues on their back. But most importantly, there is also competition and the threat of price decreases. The prices are decreasing faster than the volumes are growing. So therefore, earnings are under pressure and the stock is under pressure. So we would have to reconsider this investment. I still believe, my gut feeling is telling me that over the long term, this company will generate enormous amounts of wealth. Because this is a philosophical conversation that the regulators have with Illumina, which is, well, you are a monopolist, but you're a monopolist in the Silicon Valley style, which is you're bringing new innovation and new capabilities to the marketplace. And because you are a monopolist, you kind of, in a sense of Peter Thiel, because of your uniqueness and your monopoly status, you are actually able to do all this. But then, of course, there's the downside of having less innovation, less progress, because it's only you who's doing that. So that's why the regulators want other companies, in particular Pacific Bioscience and others, to be competing in this market. So over the long term, we still believe Illumina is worth holding on to, although it has not delivered the kind of returns we were hoping for in this year. So to summarize, our CRISPR index is exciting because We believe that the low-cost proliferation of CRISPR is just starting. That is, there's enormous upside potential for CRISPR. We are therefore very excited about this particular space. We will increase our position. We believe that the disruptive power is just now scratching the surface. It will show there is a potential 10x here in maybe 1 or 2 years. So we are talking about serious wealth creation here. There is maybe a little bit of a question mark of, well, which companies within the space are the right companies to hold. We've already seen a massive bifurcation. Within our own index, we had Twist Bioscience do extremely well. We had, let's say, Editas, the first actual CRISPR company going public, not doing so well. But that's life, particularly when you are not, when you don't have like an Elon Musk type entrepreneur that is consolidating the industry into one company. Then you have this necessity to diversify, and then when you diversify, the reason you diversify is because there are winners and losers, and then sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong. This is the nature of the game. We don't think that we will have to focus more or be even more concentrated, and we're obviously always open for new ideas and new players within that space. Thank you.